Welcome to the Bend Don't Break podcast. We are powered by The Source, Bend's locally owned media company and weekly newspaper. This podcast is our eddy in the rushing waters of local journalism. We are glad that you're taking some of your time to listen to us chat with the people who shape our local community. Support us through our member program at bensource.com.
Thank you to our presenting sponsor, RE/MAX Key Properties, a family-owned full-service real estate brokerage specializing in residential, luxury, commercial, new construction, and ranch and land properties. Their new state-of-the-art facility at 42 Greenwood Avenue is a modern, collaborative space and the new home of the Bend Don't Break podcast recording studio.
I'm Aaron Switzer, publisher of The Source and producer of this fine event. For those of you listening, we do not have a video of this podcast for today with Phil Chang, Deschutes County Commissioner, because Megan Burton decided to go to her sister's wedding and throw this whole podcast into a tizzy. But weddings have to happen. So Phil Chang is here, Deschutes County Commissioner. He has served on the Board of County Commissioners for Deschutes County since January 2021. He has made Bend his home for 22 years and raised his son here. He has worked for 30 years to help rural communities build sustainable economies where workers can combine making a living with being good stewards of the environment. For 3.5 years, Phil promoted our local community needs and federal funding and policy decisions as U.S. Senator Jeff Merkley's Central Oregon Field Representative. Phil holds a BA from Columbia University and an MS in Environmental Science, Policy, and Management from UC Berkeley. Phil, thanks for being here. I think this is your third timer for the podcast.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I think only Keith Wachowski has you beat by by one more.
Well, thanks for having me in. There's always lots to talk about.
Yeah. So, Phil, you will be, after this last election, you'll be becoming the senior commissioner on a commission board that's not going to be expanding by 2 people. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of rookies coming on to the commission. I mean, people with public service, but some of them with no public service, and they're gonna need to learn the ropes from somebody. So I think your workload's about to increase. That would be my guess.
It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah.
It's going to be really exciting for the county overall, onboarding 4 new commissioners in January. It's going to be really exciting for me to try to create a different dynamic on our board of commissioners than what I've experienced in the last 5 years. I think right now we're sort of thin on analysis and data and evidence. Well, I wouldn't say that the process is thin. The staff presents us good data and analysis and evidence about like we should be doing this, and the evidence says this. But oftentimes at this point, the board reacts. The majority of the board, in my opinion, it reacts from an ideological place,
right, or emotional.
Yeah, I mean, don't tell me how to fix addiction in our community. I know. So I will hope that we can kind of create a new dynamic where we are all pragmatically trying to solve problems, where we believe in evidence and good analysis, and we can have thoughtful deliberations that aren't just loaded with ideology and that get us stuck as we try to address really important concerns for our community.
Yeah. When you, I mean, it's been all over the news, and I don't think anybody who pays attention to county politics is unaware that even though the county is a nonpartisan position, let's say more progressive ideology held sway in this election, and to a pretty high degree. I mean, some of those races new people were far out in front of incumbents, which I found a little surprising.
Yeah.
What was your thought in looking at the election as far as like how the county moved? Was it surprising to you?
About that one particular race, the DeBone Collins race, I feel like one of the things that was happening there is that incumbency works for you for a while.
Yeah.
Like I know that when I ran for reelection in 2024, just being the incumbent, doing the job that people thought was okay, earned me thousands of votes.
Right.
So I think incumbency can really work for you as long as people think you're doing a decent job. But the double-edged sword is that when people don't feel that you are solving important problems
Yeah.
that you're talking about, then incumbency really does not work for you.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can have, I mean, I think it's fair to say, a very emotional electorate just come forward and just be like, throw the bums out, all of them,
Yeah,
top to bottom. We need to start over. And, there, I feel like there could have been some of that
yeah,
had happened,
yeah.
you know?
I definitely feel like there may be some anti-incumbent kind of sentiment
Yeah.
this 2026 election cycle.
Yeah.
Um, but I do think that, to your point, I do think that the candidates who uh, secured over 50% of the vote in the May elections, they do represent more
Yeah.
progressive policy perspectives. And I think that is also a reflection of our changing community.
Yeah.
I've lived here 23 years now. So, I've lived here 23 years. When I first arrived in this community, there were a bunch of reasonable, pragmatic, moderate Republicans who basically held all the elected
Yeah.
offices.
Absolutely.
And I thought that a lot of them did a good job.
Yep.
They were people who were open to, good analysis and evidence and presentation of potential solutions. And were able to kind of not get so stuck in an ideological partisan position. I do feel like uh, the partisan extremes have gotten greater
Sure.
within local government in recent years, and as a result, it's been odd for me to watch the elected officials on the county commission get more and more extreme right wing as the population of the county has gotten more and more purple
Right.
over
Right.
time. So
That was surprising to me
I
too.
think I think so we
Right.
sort of like split off in two different directions, and I think now it's coming back together.
Sometimes, I mean, I know from the endorsement interviews that we do as we pull all these candidates, and because we're seeing so many candidates and we're talking to so many people, you do get a flavor for, um, what the parties are shooting for. And sometimes I do think, and I think it comes through to county elections. What's always surprised me, they'll talk national talking points
Yeah.
in county commission races. I can have things like, social issues that are of national importance being talked about. And I try to go like, knock, 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 land use. Are you gonna circle back? Are you gonna stay on like same-sex marriage and some of these other trigger
Yeah.
items? And it feels like that has translated over into the politics themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I absolutely. There's um, national partisan division, the identities that have connected themselves to the different parties. It is, I think, oftentimes a real barrier to
Yeah.
doing good work at the local level on issues that don't have to be partisan. Um, and then sometimes there's national partisan stuff that really does have impacts at the local level,
Sure.
and people can't even see it. Like the other day, there were two items on our agenda related to, that tied back to Medicaid.
Oh, yeah.
Like how do we take care of these people who are going to be, thousands of people in our community who are
Right.
cast off of Medicaid when those new eligibility requirements and work requirements and reporting requirements kick in next year. And, on the one hand, I had, Commissioner Dare saying, oh, like, we need to take care of rural people. There's so many people in our community who are on Medicaid. And then when it got to, oh, well, the HR1, the big,
Right.
beautiful bill, so called,
Right.
is casting all these people off.
Right.
And all we get in return is this little rural health transformation program, like basically,
Yeah.
$200 million for the state of Oregon when we're losing like $1 billion,
Right.
more than
Right.
$1 billion a year.
Right.
And she defended it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, didn't you just say you are so concerned about rural people who are on Medicaid, and 25% of our county population is probably on Medicaid right now, and most the concentration is even higher in the rural parts of the county.
Right. Right.
So there's
Yeah.
the national partisan politics, I think, can really trip people up.
Yeah, I have been waiting for this robust debate around these kind of issues, because to me it cuts. Not only does it go across party lines, it's actually more detrimental to conservatives than if it's a conservative measure. And and I do imagine it puts people like Patty or other conservatives. I mean, she's campaigning for District 5. I mean,
Yeah.
she's gonna be shaking hands with a lot of people who are losing Medicaid. And
Yeah. I mean,
and it's a brutal position to be in, I think.
right. I mean, Cliff Bentz,
Yeah.
Congressional District 2 covers a decent chunk of Deschutes County. It is one of the highest concentrations of Medicaid, percentage wise, in the population of any congressional district in the United States.
Right. Yeah.
But he completely supported gutting Medicaid.
Yeah.
So,
What do you I mean, now that you just witnessed another campaign, and this is my own personal intrigue, all this chatter and social media conversation and stuff that seems to be pushing these ideological lines further apart. And
yeah.
how do you can you combat that? Do you feel like the tide's turning, getting better, getting worse?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I am, where people get their information, who they trust, uh, is shifting so rapidly. Kind of traditional media, just does not have the same attention,
Right.
um,
Or wattage.
or influence
Right.
that it once did. I I I don't know what the answer is to that.
Yeah.
I do feel at the local level, you can do things like go door to door
Mhm.
to people's
Yeah.
house. But even for a county commissioner race at the county level, at large positions, it's 210,000 people. It's pretty
It's a
hard.
lot of doors.
It's pretty hard to
Still a
visit all
lot
those
of- right.
doors. But
Right.
I do
And more
know,
coming.
yeah, I
Right.
do know that some of the candidates, the winners,
Yeah.
Rick Russell, Jamie Collins. I'm pretty confident that those guys, and with some volunteer support, they knocked 10,000 doors.
God.
Um,
Wow.
so I mean, maybe that is enough to kind of
Move the needle.
move
Well,
the needle.
those people they're talking to talk to other people, and you get a snowball effect of like, he's not such a bad guy after all.
Yeah,
and-
yeah. No, I think that when people meet you face to face, they can smell BS. They can smell inauthenticity.
Yeah.
And they can smell authenticity, and they
Right.
can see, they can recognize straight shooters,
Yeah.
who want to talk to them about the things that they're really worried about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With training for new counselors aside, or whatever that role is going to look like for you, what are the things that you see for a new council that are exciting? What is it that you look forward to other than the dynamic?
Yeah, I mean, on the policy front, I am so excited to have um, more thoughtful conversations about housing and land use.
Yeah.
For so long, the focus of the majority on the Board of Commissioners has been on um, facilitating as much low density luxury rural residential development as possible. And in my opinion, trying to flout the Oregon land use planning system. Um, I am really excited for us to be able to talk about, if the county wants to help produce housing that our community needs, our job is first and foremost to work with cities on urban growth boundary expansions,
Right.
where workforce and affordable housing actually gets built.
Right.
So
I mean, I know the city's working on a UG, or
yeah,
they're working on it, but they're in the
yeah,
early stages, and
and Sisters is almost in the final
yeah,
in the final home stretch on theirs. It's possible that we will get to vote. The board of commissioners will get to vote on the Sisters UGB, um, before Tony and Patty are out of office.
oh, okay.
But the Bend UGB, that's definitely that will be in the I don't know if that'll be.
The 2030 or 2030
Yeah,
something.
I don't know if I don't know if I'll see that before the end of my current term.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, land use and land use and housing is something I'm really excited to work on with new commissioners. Um, behavioral health
Yeah.
is I know that you care deeply about.
Yeah, and so I was going to turn to that next. So I appreciate it. I mean, I know you have such great staff at the county level, and and I've obviously talked to a bunch of them on this podcast, and they've got headwinds, but
Yeah.
the county plays such an important role, and personally, I've just felt like that area of the county has just been adrift.
Yeah.
And now you have more wattage, more commissioners who can spend hopefully a little more time on those kind of things.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the county, from a commission level?
I'll start from the place that you just mentioned. We have amazing staff, visionary, innovative people, who work for the county, for county health services, county behavioral health. And, for a long time, I have been of the opinion if the board of commissioners just doesn't get in their way,
Yeah, right.
they can do great things.
Yeah.
And kind of the way that I would describe the current dynamic is, county staff has great ideas. They figure out somebody else to pay for it, and then they bring it to us on a silver platter, and maybe we'll let them do it.
Yeah.
Things like but even things like the stabilization center.
Yeah.
The county had the concept that county staff had the plan
Right.
that ultimately was implemented for years
Yeah.
before they had got to do it.
Right.
Right. Because, the commissioners wanted to micromanage that and,
Yeah.
meddle in the design of the building and, the water feature and stuff like that. Um,
I shouldn't be
but
laughing.
but if we could go from a dynamic of, hey, county staff, you got a good idea. You can present it to us. You can find all the money you need, and maybe we'll let you do it. If we can go from there to, hey, we recognize that we are leaders in the state of Oregon doing all kinds of innovative things. And you are going to have the backing of your board of commissioners, advocating to state legislators for funding,
Right.
advocating for, important thing, kind of really what sound like really dry things, but reduced administrative burden.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
if a clinician can spend 5% more time with clients and patients and 5% less time filling out redundant paperwork,
Yeah. Or water features. We're looking.
um, I'm really excited to
Yeah.
see where we can take some of this work,
Yeah.
with more commissioners who are backing our great staff.
What are some things as you look forward that you're concerned about? What are some worries that
Uh,
5 new commissioners are not?
I mean, just at the broad scale, one of the issues that Commissioner-elect Jamie Collins has
Yeah.
made part of his campaign platform, energy.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, we saw what happened in La Pine, with the turning down the data center. And
yeah,
I feel like people's antenna are up,
yeah,
as far as energy use, and
absolutely.
they're engaged.
Yeah, no, I mean, we have right now for the population that we have, for the industry that we have barely enough electricity.
Yeah.
I mean, and you go by some of the like Pacific Power infrastructure, and you hear it like buzzing, and it's I've talked to people,
I
and
have
and
not heard that.
and then I've
Yeah.
talked to people, and they're like, yeah, like it is, it's maxed out, and
Wow.
and I'm afraid that it's gonna like catch on fire, right?
Right.
So we do not have enough power supply. We do not have adequate transmission infrastructure for the growth that is in our future, and adding data centers in the state of Oregon. And I'm that Lapine proposal. If there is any place in Deschutes County where a small data center um, could fit, it's probably in Lapine. Um, w- if I get to choose what kind of data center, I would not choose a cryptocurrency data center,
Right.
though.
Right.
But the idea that like there might be a small data center
Yeah.
proposal that does fit in Lapine someday, if there's adequate energy that comes online, I'm not closed to it. But
I know that for a lot of, I mean, I know one of the biggest fears about data centers, and it makes sense, is that they come in and they get such an enormous number of tax breaks and energy breaks. And I mean, is there a way that data centers can come in and pay their way and then some? Because it seems like that would be the solution.
yeah,
Why can't these guys supply additional power if they're coming
I that's exactly where I would go with this discussion. We have, data centers get from local governments approvals to do something that is large scale, potentially energy and water intensive,
in? Right.
and communities have the opportunity to demand conditions,
Right.
or demand certain kinds of community benefits in exchange for letting the data center be there.
Right.
And we're seeing communities across the United States
Sure.
saying no right now. So I think it's going to be the conditions will be increasingly favorable for communities that say yes, but we want this, and this.
Right.
Um,
Well, they're not. They're. I don't. I know it's in their best interest to strong arm local government, but they're not poor.
no,
They're coming from a place of profit,
right,
and I look at the stock market with regard to
right.
crypto and AI, and that's not the place that's going red.
No, it's not. It's not. So I mean, I think it'd be great for us to get appropriate community benefits out of those things.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, renewable energy projects. I mean, we have seen in the last year or so proposals to take a 3,000 acre chunk of Deschutes County, federal lands,
Right.
and put that under 700 megawatts of solar photovoltaic panels. I mean, 3,000 acres is a lot.
That's a lot. And could that help solve some of the energy problems, or is that a drop in the bucket?
Just 700 megawatts would help a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on who wins the bid for the power,
Right. Yeah.
because it's always about. There's a lot of rural communities that are complaining about like, well, you build this huge project in our community, and then you sell the power into California, or
Right.
you
Right.
you put it on the grid and it's going away.
Yeah.
And I mean, that is just a product of our market-based economy, right?
Yeah.
That's the way electricity generation works.
Right.
But if there are ways that we could get energy developers to, if they're going to give us money in lieu of taxes, like maybe we could say, hey, you're going to give us X million dollars to invest in a microgrid project in Red,
Right.
so that we have some resiliency in case of massive wildfire that destroys a bunch of transmission infrastructure, something like that.
One other thing for New County, we'll call it, as it's rolling in, is coordination between on homelessness and more of that stuff between the city. It's fair to say that has been, if not fractious, uh, and it's resulted in a lot of miscommunication and kind of a slower roll than maybe would be ideal.
Yeah. No, I mean, I want to note that we have made progress.
Right.
You know, we've provided some wraparound services. We provided some shelter and transitional housing. Our point in time count numbers are down 19%
Right.
this year for the region, which is awesome. But I would say that the county could do a lot more than it has been,
Yeah.
and it could be a better partner than it has been. And we could see it, in like the Redmond City Council.
Right.
3-4 years ago, the Redmond City Council was just like, nope, no shelter, not helping with anything. It's rooted in this belief that homeless people are not from here. They're all addicts. They don't want to work.
Right.
This
They need to
hateful,
pull themselves up by their bootstraps.
this hateful characterization, and that the way to fix them is to kick them out of public lands and probably lock them up in jail. But I do believe that like I'm going to call out Commissioner-elect Rick Russell
Yeah.
right now. Rick has been right on the front lines of solving homelessness.
Yeah, that was one of the most appealing things about his campaign. It would jumped off the page when he would speak to the issues and endorsement interviews, et cetera.
Yeah, and so to have a person like that on our board of commissioners, helping to lead, helping to build the partnerships with the cities and nonprofits, it is going to be really exciting.
Yeah.
And then the hard part is going to be how do we pay for
Right.
the things that we want to do that we know work,
Right.
but which require some investment.
Yeah. Phil, we are at the conclusion of our time, unbelievably again. I think you're one of the smoothest interviews that I do. Anything that I did not bring up that listeners should know of as we embark on this new era?
No, as we covered, I think we're going to see a really different approach and some great forward motion from the county on housing, land use, homelessness, behavioral health,
Yeah.
all kinds of things that people really care about.
Yeah. That whole measure to get more folks on, it's been characterized in social media as political. And my feeling is that as the county has grown and the responsibilities have grown, and as I've watched 3 people try to tackle these issues, and you don't ever want to sit down with 3 people. That number is just such a terrible dynamic. But that aside, like there's so much more that commissioners can do, and being able to divvy up the board responsibilities and who's doing what and where there's focus and having a fifth eye. And I believe the democratic process held in Deschutes County, and we'll see what happens. But I'm very excited about the change. I think it's a very cool thing to see Deschutes County evolve in this fashion, and I hope the next term goes well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I do too, and I'm very hopeful, and I feel a lot of pressure to make sure we do it right.
You're the senior now. You're the class of whatever. So
Class of 2021.
That's right. Well, this has been the Bend Don't Break podcast. Really appreciate you sitting down with us, Phil, and taking some time. I know these are crazy days.
Thank you so much for the time today, Aaron.
If you like what you heard, go to bensource.com, become a member, donate and support us so that we can continue to have these important conversations and entertaining conversations for me. I hope for you listeners as well. Thanks. You've been listening to the Bend Don't Break podcast, powered by The Source Weekly. To read, hear, and see more of what we do, go to bensource.com.